Hey, I'm Lenny Burden, and I am in Glasgow right now, and I'm from Octave One. We always bring a ton of equipment with us. We always bring a ton of equipment. I mean, for us, it's myself and my brother Lawrence, and we've been doing this for over 20 years prior to laptops. And we do understand that laptops can do everything that we can do with all this equipment, but we also understand it's about a show, and it's about us being able to enjoy ourselves. And we tried with laptop a couple of times. We found that it was us pretty much just looking at screens. Musically, we could achieve pretty much the same thing, and in fact more things, but it wasn't fun for us. And it was the reason why we do music first and foremost is because we enjoy it. Everything else is secondary. So if we can't enjoy what we do, it's no sense of us being here, and we need to have equipment. So we even bring our own mixing desk, because Lawrence plays it like a guitar. He doesn't even want someone else bringing him a mixing desk. A lot of our equipment, we've had retrofitted or changed with other things added to it. So, we bring, a couple synthesizers, multiple drum machines. We bring multiple samplers, effect units, and basically we set our studio up on stage. When we travel, we actually keep our weight to a minimum. We carry on a couple 20-kilo cases that we actually check into the airplane into the hold. We have a couple of very heavy bags that we carry with us that are probably a good 15 kilos themselves. They're small, but we used to roadie for other bands. We used to carry other people's equipment, so we understand how to pack equipment. That's actually one of our skills that we're very proud of, is being able to pack equipment well. So we measure everything and weight down to the cables that we carry. So it's very scientific. So we know how much clothing we can bring with us. How many T-shirts, how many pair of blue jeans, and we know exactly what we can bring. So that we know so we can meet that 20 kilo, per case.
That's dedication. They can't do many DJs.
Yeah. For us to be able to do what we do, we have to be very precise, because we want to bring a lot of equipment. We want to be able to translate a show from a small club to a large festival, and we want to still be able to always give a very good show. So it does take a lot of effort. Even when we buy our equipment, we're buying for sound, we're buying for size, and we're buying for weight. Sometimes we wish we had, or not even sometimes, we always wish we had a little bit more space to carry one more piece. It's always that way. But we really do a lot of research before we buy equipment. our creativeness really comes from trying to make something happen that we think someone else might not be able to make happen with machines. And it's very necessary for us to have that kind of accomplishment with certain things. It's like from where we first began making music, especially back in Detroit, you'd have a 909, and when someone else would hear your track and they might also have a 909, they'll go like, how did you do that? And that was part of the accomplishment, that you can just something a little bit extra that somebody else didn't know how to do. And that's kind of how we still like to be able to do things. It's like, all right, well, for people to be guessing, like, well, what did you use? How did you make that sound? How did you do that? As opposed to, someone to easily be able to detect, oh, okay, well, okay, that's reason. It's still very difficult because everybody have access to the same sounds now. Before, you could find some obscure synthesizer laying in some, pawn shop where somebody sold it and they couldn't figure out what the heck. That's pretty much how acid came about. The TB-303 was something that was discarded, and it became a whole, genre of music. That's really kind of where our mentality came from when we started making music. Everything, even the 909, 808, they weren't meant to be what we used them for. They were meant to, to sound like drummers, which they just don't, and which is great, so that's kind of where our whole mentality has always come from too. We're doing this remix album that's coming out end of February, and we've been working on it for probably, a good 9 months, almost a year. And it's really, we're only dealing with like maybe 10 remixers. We've been dealing with a lot of people, and it's the schedules of producers now are extremely busy. Not like before where they were just, they play a couple times a month. Now, because everybody's a record mogul, everybody's a busy DJ, everybody has radio shows that they're doing. Very, very difficult to just pin people down. And we understand that because we have people that we still owe remixes to. So it's not like, we don't understand how it is. So it's been quite an adventure because we never took on anything this big. And really, in our head, we just had this number. It's like, we want to get 10 solid tracks that, these particular producers that we've always wanted to work with. And we actually had a list of 30. We're like, if 10 of these people can come through. We were very privileged to have like Carrie Lakenbush. Finally, it's like, it was talking to him back and forth on Skype. And he was like, Carrie, we really want you to do this. We had Lawrence, actually, my brother Lawrence did a DJ mix album quite a few years ago, and he became just a huge Carrie Lakenbush fan, and he really wanted to have him on the actual project. Ken Ishii was one of the first guys to put us on a compilation in Japan when we did, I Believe, our first record, and been fans of Ken Ishii ever since. So it's like, it's certain people that we really were just bugging, trying to get on this album, and it's been quite an adventure. But it's been definitely worth it. Once we finally hear these finished products, we like, oh, okay, this stuff is amazing, and it's worth the work. It's worth the work. The Sandwell District remix of I Believe is really good. The thought is it's almost like, what were you thinking when you did this? It's I don't hear that when I hear I Believe. And you know, talking to the guys, talking to Dave, to Function, and talking to Carl, you know, it's interesting. It's like you're talking to a fan. He's like, man, you know, you don't have to be a fan, man. It's like, I'm a fan of your music, but I don't know. It's we've learned a lot also dealing with all these other producers, what they knew about our catalogs, and you know, and what our music meant to them, and their music means the same to us. So it's been a learning experience also for us. Kerry Lakenbush remix, the original track is pretty much indistinguishable, but the track that he made is just amazing. We pretty much told him, like, well, man, this could just be a Kerry Lakenbush track. Like, no, you know, it's inspired by and blah, you know, like, all right, well, dude, it's a brilliant piece of work. Are you sure you want it to be a remix? And we're like, well, you know, we listen. And he's telling us what parts he used. And I'm listening, like, where? Like, you know, and it's like, but it's such a good track. You know, it needs to be heard. It's a really, really good track. It's one of those things where it's going to be for us, a really monumental album that we're happy that how it came together. We're launching the album into February, and we're going to do probably 5 or 6 parties through the world, grabbing a guest remixer from the project. And it's something where actually most of the remixers from the actual project we've performed with before, and that's really how, you know, we kind of got to know them as how they manipulate music live, you know, DJing or playing live. Errol Brecker there's another one's on the project, and we'll just be doing special dates throughout the world with them, just grabbing a remixer and just doing a gig. We already got a couple of things that we're just gonna pop up. Some will be announced and some won't be announced. So if you see us on the schedule, you'll never know who's possibly is just gonna be us, or we're gonna throw in a special guest star. So that's something we're really looking forward to also.
Have you been rehearsing those, or is it sort of on the fly?
We have done a bit of exchange back and forth through Skype as far as just ideas of what we possibly will be doing. It's one of those things where it will be definitely a lot of things on the fly, but we just want to be able to do something different and bring something special to certain occasions. Very excited about that. Very excited about that. I mean, it's all part of the whole music evolution.